Welcome to another episode, everyone. Centinela State Prison, circa 1997. A family member from Compton, Crip. He betrayed his cousin, who was not a member, but he was a part of their faction. We just talked about this. Let's call the cousin Snake. The name fits him. And his cousin, his name was Tiny. He was a little dude, but he had a big heart. Again, he was not a member. I was in Chino with Tiny back in 1996. We both had violations. At the time, Chino held violators, parole violators, if you had 1 year or less. But you would transfer from Chino and go to another prison. Tiny and I were real cool there in Chino. He walked the yard. He minded his own business. And you can tell he was from the culture and that he grew up around members. He had tattoos, all of this, but he just was not a member. He did not gangbang. Tiny used to talk about his cousin to me, this guy, Snake. He was proud of him. Snake was a bit younger as well. Tiny was about 22. I was about 20. No, I was 22 as well. And his cousin was about 29 years old. Snake was about 29 years old, but a young G from his hood. Santana Block or Nutty Block, one of the two, but he had juice from his hood. Tiny knew this, and so Tiny spoke highly of him. I got to Centinela about a week before Tiny, and then Tiny pulled up from Chino to Centinela. We embraced, and we became cool on the yard there at Centinela as well. Tiny went in the cell with his cousin. Now, when he first hit the yard, he's like, yeah, that's my cousin I was telling you about. I'm like, oh, that's him. Okay, I had not made the connection when I got to Centinela. But when he pointed him out, I said, yeah, I can see already there on the yard that dude had respect from his car and other cars, everyone on the yard. I got to check out my environment and see who is who here on the yard, who the main characters are. Dude was one of the main characters. I saw that immediately. Tiny ended up going in the cell with his cousin. Both of them began to regulate, even though Tiny didn't have that much time. He only had 4 or 5 months before he was out the door, but he wanted to make some money before he went home. That's what he was talking about all the time. I got to make some money before I go home, give myself a little cushion. That way, when I get home, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go right back to the street trying to get some money and come back. I have a little time to do a little something. Okay, so he started going to the visiting area along with his cousin Snake. Again, they're in the cell together. They're cool. They're eating. They're working out together. Tiny is a part of the Compton car. Not a member. You can say he's straddling the fence, but he's a part of the car. He grew up there in Compton. He knows a lot of these dudes on the yard because of his cousin. They're going out there, and ironically enough, the two women that are coming to see Tiny and Snake, they are cousins. And they all know each other from the street. They've been dating one another for some time. Snake, come to find out, always had an eye out for the other cousin, for Tiny's girl. He wanted her, was nearly obsessed with her. Come to find out, he had been writing her letters. Now, she had not written him back, but she also did not tell her cousin, hey, your man is writing me letters. She didn't tell her man, your cousin is writing me. I'm not saying that she was in on it because she had not written him back to that point. But Tiny found out that he had written her a letter. He found out somehow because she didn't say anything. But the letter was not graphic. It was just saying, hey, what's up, cousin? What's up, little cousin? How's things going out there, etc. He calling her cousin and this and that. But really, it came out later that he had ulterior motives. He really wanted this woman. So they're bringing it in. And they're making money there on the yard. Tiny is accomplishing his goal of making money before he goes home to have himself a little nest egg when he gets there. He's in good with the Compton car, is Tiny. Snake, he's almost running the car. He's not necessarily running the car, but he has enough juice in there. He has a lot of influence on this yard and inside of the Compton car, even though he's not even 30 years old yet. But there's some OGs on the yard that's really running the yard. I know who they are. But he's somebody on the yard. Snake doesn't have to give up too much of his sack. He's just giving the Compton car what he wants to give him. He's a factor. But Tiny is giving them about the same amount that Snake is giving them. Every time he comes back from the visionary, he got his stuff. Here y'all go, man. He's looking out for him. That's what everyone does for the most part that's going out there. You look out for your homies. So these dudes hungry, these hungry wolves who you expect to have your back when shit goes awry over this sack. They like, man, you weren't looking out for me with that shit. I'm not finna get involved. I don't care. So you look out for him. Then Tiny, not necessarily being from Compton, he's certainly feeling a little pressure to look out. But the Compton car, they're beginning to feel like Tiny could be giving them a little bit more. And he should be, since he's not a member. This is how they are thinking. What Snake is giving them is just is A-OK. So they tell Tiny, man, we need you to give us a little bit more. Now, Tiny is thinking Snake, his OG cousin, his big cousin, is about to have his back. About to get these wolves up off of him and tell them, nah, man, my cousin, he looking out for y'all. He giving y'all the same shit I'm giving y'all. This is my little cousin. And he had the power to do that. He just didn't have the fealty to do it because he had an ulterior motive. He really wanted Tiny out of the way, off the yard, hoping that his girl and her cousin would still come to visit him and he could make a move. Or he could continue to write the cousin without Tiny being right there in the cell with him. So he's essentially agreeing with the Comptons that Tiny, you need to give up a little bit more. He told Tiny in the cell, Tiny conveyed all of this to me. We're tight. That Tiny, you're not bigger than the program, bro. You're not even a member. You're my cousin. I got your back. But man, come on. You got to look out for the homies, bro. Keep these dudes up off of you. Tiny, like I am looking out for them, though. Every time I come back with something, I'm giving them more than you giving them. What you talking about? Well, I got to give them my whole sack, man. You got to look out for them, bro. This is his cousin. They grew up together. They love one another, supposedly. Tiny can't believe what he's hearing. That his cousin is clearly betraying him for the car. And it's not that his cousin wanted some of the sack. He has his own stuff. Snake is making his own money. He has his own power and influence. He has his own identity here on the yard. He wants him out of the way because he wants his woman. Tiny, he can't believe what is coming out of his cousin's mouth. They're in the cell. So eventually, the Comptons, they have a meeting. And Tiny was welcome to the meeting. Now, all the time are you invited when they're politicking on you. You'll figure out what the decision was when the meeting's over. When the meeting breaks, if they come and attack you with knives, you know what they decided. Or somebody's going to come and say, you good, bro. Don't do that shit again. You know, they politicking on you over there in the meeting. And sometimes they don't want you there, but sometimes they do. Tiny was there, and they're telling him, man, you need to give us a little bit more. We're not trying to punk you or none of that, bro, but we just saying you need to look out. You're not even a member. We fuck with you because of your cousin. But man, you know, you treating us like we some old puppies, spoon feeding us. We some G's around here. So Tiny told him that he would give him a little bit more. He would do the best he could, but that he had a family to feed, that he was trying to make some money before he got home. He's the one out here taking these chances. His girl's out here taking these chances. She's the one bringing it in. They're not helping pay for anything. I got y'all, but man, help me buy the sack then. Y'all not doing nothing. But okay, I'm going to look out for y'all, man. Like I said, I'm not really a member. And, you know, he wants to walk a fine. He's about to go home. He wants to be careful here on the yard. He's not being too careful. Obviously, he's going out here to the visionary, doing what he's doing, but he wants to make it home. But he's not a coward. So he gave him a little bit more the next time. Then the next time, he sort of went back to his old ways, gave him what he gave him. He told them that he did not have much, and he gave him what he gave him. But his cousin, Snake, went out there and told the Comptons that Tiny had a boatload of stuff, that he was lying to them. He's trying to get him out of the way. So the Comptons, well, they're a little bit irate. They feel betrayed by Tiny. They're saying, bro, we found out you got a whole sack in there telling us you barely got anything, and you spoon feeding us again. We told you about this. So Tiny said, man, who telling y'all my business? I'm telling y'all what I got. But they know for a fact that Tiny's not telling the truth because of his cousin. Snake has made it explicitly clear that Tiny has a big old sack, and he's just not being forthright, and he doesn't want to share. What to do, Comptons? Well, they're thinking, and they're essentially voicing this to Snake. Do you have his back? We know this your cousin, but they can already see this, whose side Snake is on. He's riding with his gang, with his members, over his cousin. Not because he has fealty to his gang, because he wants this woman. So Snake lets them know, I'm with y'all, bro, I'm with the car. Essentially, they came to an agreement that they were going to remove Tiny from the yard. They were going to attack him. And they wanted Snake to kick it off, to attack his own cousin that he supposedly loved and grew up with, that he done moved in his cell with him, that they're going to the visionary with every week, making money together, everything. Their mothers are sisters. How you going to talk to your auntie again? What you going to tell her about beating down her son over a sack, but really over a woman, dirty politicking her son, backstabbing her son? Apparently he wasn't thinking that far ahead. When they came out to the yard, and Tiny felt something off. He felt that something was not right. Back in Centinela in these days, wasn't a lot of weapons involved. So thankfully, Snake didn't pull out a weapon, but he attacked Tiny right there on the yard. And 2 or 3 other Comptons jumped in and got on Tiny. And he didn't really have a chance, but he sort of broke away and ran over there by the grass and picked up a water sprinkler. Back in those days, they had the water sprinkler. He got it out of the grass and swung it at his cousin, swung it at Snake, and hit him right in the head and split his shit open. Snake was out there leaking. He didn't hit any other Comptons with the water sprinkler, but he hit Snake with it. It was a big water sprinkler, and bam, cracked him. And by that time, the police ran over there and broke everything up, got everybody down, laid the yard down, and they took them all up out of there. I ended up talking to Tiny some years later, and him and his cousin were never cool again, at least until that point. They had not spoken. Years later, they had not spoken. He said that the family was upset with the cousin, etc. Turned on his cousin. He did. Snake did. Dirty politicked him. Out there talking behind his back. For what? Because he wanted his girl. He's writing his girl letters behind his back. And then attacked his cousin, trying to get him off the yard to have access at his cousin. But his cousin, he wasn't expecting to pick up that sprinkler and go clear upside his head with it. Sent him off leaking. Prison is not a place for anyone. At the end of the day, your own family will turn their backs on you. Stay free, people.